My name is Jeff Isaac. I've lived here in Bloomington and taught at political science at IU for around 40 years. It's great to see everybody. I've only spoken here in front of the courthouse one other time. It was a couple of days after 9/11. I spoke as one of the founding members of Bloomington United. The mayor was here. I spoke. And I spoke to a frightened and anxious group of Bloomingtonians. I spoke about the need to respect tolerance and human rights and to avoid demonizing and not rush to fear and not rush to violence. I spoke in the name of a simple democratic truth. As Bloomingtonians, we share a common place and a common fate. As citizens and as residents, because all of us here are not legally citizens, but they should have the same rights. We're responsible together for making a better world. In those days, people were afraid because our country had been attacked by an obscure group of foreigners based somewhere else. Today, we're again afraid, but the attacker is not obscure, and the threat is not, in any sense, external. Today, we're threatened, our freedom is threatened, our democracy is threatened by Donald Trump, the President of the United States, who is based not in the mountains and caves of Afghanistan, but in the White House. Boo. The events taking place all across the country today are taking place under the banner of no kings for a simple reason. Because Trump, with the aid of an exceptionally partisan administration, is today acting like a king by organizing a massive celebration of his birthday and of himself, a celebration that features an unprecedented display of military force on the streets of the Capitol. Boo, that's right. And while this military parade is going on, he has sent National Guardsmen and women and U.S. Marines on the streets of Los Angeles. Unprecedented. Trump is a megalomaniac who exults in dominating others. Boo! Trump regards the government and the entire country as his private property to be controlled and used to bring wealth to him and his family and friends. Boo! In many ways, Trump seems to truly believe the classic motto of that iconic absolute monarch, Louis XIV, L'État c'est moi. The state is me, I am the state. He thinks, only I could save us, he said. I was saved by God to make America great again, he said. Trump acts like a king. No kings. He acts like a king. And we're here to say very loudly, no kings, right? But in my brief remarks here, I'll be brief, I want to remind us at all that Trump is not a king. He's not. And while he inherited his wealth, he did not inherit the political power that he now wields to frighten and intimidate us. Trump is the elected president of the United States. I'm not saying this to justify him, believe me, just listen up. Well over 77 million citizens voted for him. After experiencing the COVID disaster and 2 impeachments and his civil and criminal convictions and a totally failed presidency, after all that, over 77 million of our fellow citizens elected him for a second time. It's a fact. And it's okay to boo. Right, we should boo. We also need to understand, and I want to make 2 points related to that are really, really important. I was asked here to speak about fascism. I'll speak very briefly about it. The first point is this. While monarchs can be dangerous, Trump is much more dangerous than any monarch, precisely because he was elected after a multi-year campaign that consisted of angry rhetoric and violent incitement and very promises to do exactly what he is doing. Trump successfully treated the 2024 presidential election like an American Idol television show, and the viewing audience voted him the winner. Think about that. Trump is an authoritarian populist, a master manipulator of mass media, of digital media, of public opinion. He claims the Declaration of Independence for himself, and his followers on January 6th claim to be the true American revolutionaries. He regards himself as the tribune and the leader and the avenger of supposedly real Americans who he defends against us, and against democracy. Trump is a populist in the same way that Mussolini and Hitler were populists. Like those mid-20th century fascist leaders, Trump is a fascist because he preys on fear, because he promotes xenophobia and racism and hostility, and because he incites violence. That is bad, bad, boo. He has used his popularity to take over the Republican Party, to purge all dissenters from that party and from our government, and to create a cult of personality. He has begun to bring media institutions to heel. It's okay. Media, yeah, okay. It happens. I was at the Paramount Theater in 1964 when it happened to the Beatles. If it can happen to Paul McCartney and Ringo, it can happen to me. He has begun to bring media institutions to heel, universities to heel. We know about that. He has begun using the Justice Department to threaten and intimidate opponents. He has unleashed ICE, and in the past week, he subjected the country to something frighteningly close to martial law, and millions of our fellow Americans, residents, citizens, have been terrified and persecuted. And he has done all of this with very substantial popular support. I happen to be a political scientist. It's a fact. We are here together. We ought to be proud to be here together, determined to walk the talk of democracy together. But we must recognize that most Americans are not out today chanting "No Kings." That's a political reality that we must confront as we oppose it. Contending with Trump means contending not simply with Trump, but with a party and followers and a mass base, and many Americans who are not followers, but they're cowed into submission, or they're tired, or they're complacent. Everyone around. The danger is enormous, and our challenge is great, because winning real popular support for an alternative is an uphill battle today. And this brings me to my second point, and I'm almost done. I appreciate the crowd. I'm playing tonight at the Orbit Room if you want to hear the Postmodern Jazz Quartet. Yeah. My second point. Trump is a despotic demagogue, but he has not yet vanquished constitutional democracy. Not yet. Our democracy is plagued by numerous injustices. It is corrupt. It is in tatters. It is besieged. But it is not dead yet. Trump has attacked the courts, but the courts, at least in some places, are still doing their job. Trump and his allies have attacked the universities and the media, and they have cowed a great many prominent media and university institutions, including Indiana University, which under the current administration has worked hard to supplant Texas and Florida as these state institutions, the state university of MAGA. It's an outrage. It's an embarrassment. But independent media and independent educational institutions persist. Academic freedom and press freedom are not dead yet. Here at IU and elsewhere, we resist this. Trump and his allies would love to destroy, to eviscerate, to eliminate the Democratic Party. The Democratic Party is a weakened party. In many ways, in my own personal opinion, it's a pathetic party, a shell of what it once was. But it's an alternative party. In real dictatorships, alternative parties don't exist. We have an alternative party. I'm not a Democratic activist or anything. But the point is, the opposition is important. The Democratic Party, its opposition to Trumpism, is important in Bloomington, in Indiana, in the entire country. Trump has opponents in Congress. He has opponents in the media. He has opponents in legal institutions. He has opponents in universities, in civil society. The recent demonstrations against ICE and this, which is going on across the country, such things are taking place because we still have certain freedoms and rights, and there are still spaces of dissent and opposition, and there are still forms of solidarity and resilience and resistance that are available to us. And we need to seize these democratic means, fragile means, limited means, endangered means, and we need to use them to defend and to deepen our democracy. I'm almost done. It's up to us to seize hold of these democratic means and to use them to say no to kings and no to despotic demagogues who win elections. No, no. And to say yes to democracy. Yes. And yes to constitutional democracy. Yes. And the rule of law. Yes. Think, write, speak, listen, organize, assemble, petition, demand, resist, vote, 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 vote locally, state elections, right? Yeah, vote. Trump's president, at least until until January 20th, 2029. Think about that. It's a terrifying thought. And maybe beyond that. The Democrats can take back the House in 2026. It's possible. We don't know what's possible. Voting is simply one element of active democratic citizenship. So act. Only we can save us. This is a good start. Let it not be the end. Thank you.